Call me crazy, but I've come up with 4 legit reasons why Nebraska can actually make the College Football Playoff in 2025. And I know that sounds insane. The Huskers, of course, got their first bowl win in 8 seasons last year, and there's a lot of good energy around the program, a lot of good expectations. But maybe not that good, maybe not that high, or maybe people aren't expecting enough of this team. So in today's video, I'm going to go over what these 4 reasons are, why I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit more than I have in the past, why I believe that Matt Rhule is going to take that big jump that everybody's expecting, and so much more. This is a very honest video. You're going to want to stick around for the entire thing. But before we get into all of it, please hit that like button if you're fired up. And really quick, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're unsubscribed, what are you waiting for? For daily Husker football content, it would make my day. Please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about why Nebraska can actually make the College Football Playoff in 2025. And I know what you're thinking. Wilson, you're bonkers. You're insane. There's no way this is going to happen. And I'm right in that boat with you. Usually I'm a realist. Usually I try to reel back expectations. I'm thinking 6 wins for Nebraska, 7 wins, maybe 8 wins at the very most. But there's something different about this offseason. And we'll talk about this as the video progresses. But there's just a lot of good energy around this program, a lot of positive signs that Nebraska's finally going to be competitive in the Big Ten. And let's just get to the first one. Okay, these reasons will get more complex as the video goes on. We'll start off with the most basic reason why I truly believe that Nebraska is going to be in contention for the College Football Playoff. Number one reason is very simply our roster is finally ready. Okay. For the first time in over 10, 20 years, I believe we have a good enough quarterback to compete with some of the top squads in the country. Okay, we just haven't had that in the past couple of years. Okay, Jeff Sims was not a good quarterback. Casey Thompson was fine, but we won 4 games with Casey Thompson. Okay, Adrian Martinez was fine, but we know what Adrian Martinez did when the game got tight. He crumbled. Okay, we have not had a quality top 20, top 10 quarterback in a very, very long time. That's what changes with Dylan Raiola. And quarterbacks are the only position on the football field that can change the game alone with their abilities. Okay, a good to great quarterback can take you from 7 to 10 wins. A great to elite quarterback can take you from 10 to 12 wins. Okay, that's how much they change. That doesn't really happen with other positions. So you feel good about the quarterback position finally for Nebraska. I think Dylan's going to take that big step. Running back position is kind of a question mark, but we're not going to be running the football that much. And we'll talk about that as the video progresses with our third reason. The wide receiver room is one of the best in the country objectively, with Dane, who's one of the best receivers in the SEC. Jacory, Barney, who's one of the best incoming sophomores in America. You got Nyziah Hunter in there. So objectively, it's one of the best receiver cores. That's not me being biased. That's objective. The O-line is the best it's been for Nebraska in a decade. The D-line, while you replace a lot, you have a lot of good pieces there. And then the linebacker core is phenomenal. Could be top 10 in America. And the DB core is going to be phenomenal. So the roster is finally good enough for Nebraska. But it really all stems to quarterback. I don't even care how, you could say the D-line's a question mark. That's cool. That's fine. I'll believe you. You could say the defensive line's a question mark. You could say running back room is a question mark. It doesn't really matter because a quarterback can mask a lot of that. And if Dylan can be that top 10 quarterback that we think he can be, he's going to win us games by his arm alone. Football is a team game, but quarterbacks can do that from time to time when you have one of them once. So that's the first reason. Second reason is let's just look at the schedule. Okay, in order to make the College Football Playoff, you need to win 10 games. That's really what it is. It's a 12-team playoff. We need to win 10 games. Again, I'm not giving you my actual predictions until late July, but there aren't many games here where you just look at it and say, "Oh, this is a loss." Okay, the only really 2 objectively very hard games for Nebraska on the schedule are Michigan at home and Penn State away. Other than that, you play Cincinnati that you're going to be favored in. Akron, Houston Christian, very favored in. You play Michigan State, you're going to be favored in that one. Maryland, favored. Minnesota, favored. Northwestern, favored. USC at home, might be a pick 'em, but we're at home, so we might be favored very minimally. You got UCLA, we'll be favored there. And then you got Iowa. I don't really, we'll see what happens to Iowa. That's always a crazy game anyway. So Nebraska's going to be favored in probably 10 of their 12 games this year, besides Michigan and Penn State. Objectively, it's one of the easiest schedules in the Big Ten. Now, I'll say that with all of the grain of salt. Nebraska always loses games they shouldn't. We'll talk about that in the third reason. But from a very objective point, looking at the schedule, it's one of the easiest schedules in the Big Ten. If Nebraska can actually win these close games, get above the hump, get on a roll, get hot, it's going to be hard to slow them down. So that's the second reason. The schedule is very advantageous. Next year it's not going to be advantageous. We'll talk about it in another video. The third reason why I think Nebraska can actually make the college football playoff, this arguably might be the most important reason, is because I believe the staff is finally ready. That's the thing that's really hindered Nebraska from actually making bowl games in the past. It's not that we haven't been talented enough. We've always been talented enough. We've always brought in 4-star prospects. We've always got good transfers. It's because our coaching staff's been terrible. Let's be real. Let's be real. We're all Nebraska fans here. Let's be honest. Scott Frost was one of the worst coaches in America. We can say that confidently now. Mike Raiola wasn't a good coach. Matt Rhule, obviously, in his first year in Nebraska, he struggled a lot with some in-game decision makings. But the reason why I'm so confident about the staff this year is because Matt Rhule has filled in the gaps. He brought in Dana Holgorsen, who's a phenomenal game planner, who's one of the best offensive minds to this day in college football. He brought in Phil Snow as a defensive analyst who's going to change our defensive game planning. Okay, he's not really going to be involved in practice. Actually, he kind of is, but he's really not going to be involved as much as these other coaches. He's going to be involved in game planning, in film. So our offensive and defensive game plan is going to be so much better. Our getting comfortable in uncomfortable situation moments are going to be a lot better as well. So what that means is when the fourth quarter comes and the game gets tight, we're not going to be nervous anymore because we're going to trust our training. We're going to trust our coaching staff. The coaching staff's been there before. Dana Holgorsen's been there before. I'm a lot more confident in this coaching staff making the right calls in a very crucial down and date rather than what I would be last year or in year one with Matt Rhule, with Scott Frost. Okay. The staff's finally ready to win these big games. They're finally going to take that big jump from a game planning standpoint. That's really why Nebraska's lost, is because we just haven't been able to game plan at elite level. So while Nebraska, I'm not going to sit here and say Nebraska's going to beat Penn State next year, but I think that Nebraska is going to win the games that they should win, like the Marylands, like the Minnesotas, like the Northwesterns, simply because we have the staff to do it. Okay, we're not going to get out game planned by an inferior team with an inferior coaching staff with inferior talent. That's just not going to happen anymore. So while I'm not going to sit here and predict a win against Michigan or Penn State just yet, I feel confident about us being Northwestern. While in past years I wouldn't have been, because I don't trust Scott Frost. I don't trust Matt Rhule without Dana Holgorsen to do the job. So feel a lot better about the game planning. Makes me a lot more confident Nebraska is not going to lose the games they shouldn't lose. So that makes our floor a lot higher. That makes our floor maybe even 6-7 wins. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you can figure that out for yourself. So those are the three reasons. Roster's finally good enough. You got the quarterback. The schedule is advantageous. Like it or not, it's advantageous. Third reason, I think the game playing, the staff is finally there. The fourth thing is something you can't really define. I think Nebraska just finally has that winner mindset. And I know that sounds corny. That sounds cliche. The winner mindset. What are you talking about, Wilson? It's a real thing in football. To have that mindset when you're going into a game that you're going to win no matter what the circumstance is. That's what Iowa has. Truthfully. Hate Iowa's guts. But Iowa has that mindset when they play any team, and it's a close game. It's always a close game with Iowa. They could be playing South Dakota State. They could be playing Ohio State. They'll go have a close game against them. But Iowa has that mindset in the fourth quarter, like, we're going to go out and win. We have a winning team. We have a winning mindset. That matters. The psychology behind it matters. Nebraska's had the opposite over the past couple of years. That's the reason why we crumble, because we're losers. Like, that sounds harsh, but it's true. Because when we have a close game, let's just say, let's go to Iowa last year. We had a close game versus Iowa. We crumble because we had that losing mindset because we've been there before. And we start having flashbacks. That changes this year. With all of the experience that we have, with all the good mojo through the program. We're not doing this again. We're not losing again. There's a quiet confidence in the coaching staff. So I think for the first time, pretty much since Bo Pelini, we're going to have that winning mindset. We're going to trust our training. And the only way that winning mindset can continue to develop is by actually winning. So that's why it's so important the Huskers go off to a hot start. They win the first 3 games. They potentially beat Michigan at home. That winning mindset will develop even further. So now you're going into the fourth quarter, you're playing Northwestern. It's a close game and nobody expected it, and you still trust your training. You still trust you're going to win the ball game. You're not going to crumble. I think the winning mindset's going to be there. And that's going to be very important in these fourth quarter situations to finally get wins. So those are the 4 reasons why I think Nebraska can actually make the college football playoff. Now, is it going to happen? We'll see. And I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid too much, but again, trust me on this. That's the expectation inside the building. That's what the coaching staff's talking about. That's what the team's talking about. Maybe they shouldn't talk about that. I don't know. Let me know your comments down below if you think they shouldn't be focused on that. But that's what the expectation is this year, like it or not. We have the horses to do it. We have the jockey to do it. We have the trainer to do it. But will they actually execute on game day when the race gets tight? The Kentucky Derby, the last quarter mile? Are they going to show up? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But it's going to be a fun year. That's all I know. And there's a lot of expectations. So hopefully they actually will live up to it for the first time in a long time. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. What are you thinking? Am I crazy? I probably am. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you guys found the video, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go big red, go Met Rule, and I'll see you in the next one.